52, we're still talking about illness. Still talking about illness in the 脏腑 organs. So basically today, we're talking about illness. So still question first. When illness happens in the 脏 organ and the 腑 organ, it caused the reason is the same or not the same. So that's the question. Talking about kind of etiology, relationship with 脏腑 organs disorder. So that's the question for these chapters. Firstly, the answer is they are not the same. Yeah, not always the same. Yeah. So for TCM, we never say anything absolutely. Yeah. We just say generally speaking. Yeah, generally speaking. Yeah, generally say they are not the same. Then then we say what's the same, what's the difference here. So the illness, yeah, the illness, it happens or start or development in the 脏 organ is like stay in the same place, not moving. They are not go to their original place. They always in there. So that's the 脏 organs disorder. Yeah, 脏 organs disorder. Like we're talking about some spleen disorders. They always in the same place, or maybe lung disorders, or maybe heart disorders. They are always in the same place, especially like we talking about chest pain. Yeah, chest pain, always in the chest. They are not moving. So that's a 脏 organ disorder. And if the illness happens in the 腑 organ, so they will moving around. Yeah, moving around. It can go up and go down. They are not at the same place for a long time. So like people have small intestine or large intestine disorder, and then caused some abdominal painful. They will moving, and also you can hear some like a bubbling kind of sounds in that area. So that's the one way we separate 脏 organs and 腑 organs disorders. So that's for 脏 organ, 腑 organ disorder, we separate by it like locations and the symptoms. So that's still pretty short chapter here. Yeah, pretty short chapter here. To see we have more discussed for this chapter. Yeah. Today's chapter is not that long. Still separated 脏 organ. So basically they separated the same issue like last chapter. We still talking about 脏腑 organ with cold and heat aspected to separate 脏腑 organ disorder. And this chapter, we found it mutable or not moving. We separate the Zang Fu organ chapter disorder here. This looks good for this chapter. Okay, so let's go to next one. Let's go to 55. Yeah, let's go to 55. Okay, so 55, we're still talking about illness. Have you learned with your internal medicine? Have you learned G and G in your internal medicine? I think just
The two types of masses?
G, have you heard in your internal med?
Yeah, they're the two kinds of masses, is that?
Yeah, two kind of masses. Yes, two kind of masses. Yeah. So basically in this chapter, we're talking about two kind of masses, G and G. Yeah, G and G. So still questions. Yeah, still questions. The illness, sometimes we talk about the G. I think the different book, the translator will be different. I prefer use original Chinese characters. It's not that confusing. Yeah, G and G. Yeah, G and G. So that's just the translator for G and the translator for G. I'm not sure it's give you some sense for the translator, but if you learn from your internal medicine, you will familiar with G and G. So how we can identify G and G? So that's the question here. Yeah, that's the question here. Identify G and G. So G is the condition. In condition, yeah, in condition. We say everything we separate yin and yang. So between qi and blood, qi is yang, blood is yin. But from qi aspect, we can separate yin yang again. So in part of the qi, yeah, in part of the qi, accumulation, yeah, accumulation. That's we call G, yeah, G coming from in part of the qi cause the illness. And the G is the yang part of the qi cause the illness. So the first lay, we separate with yin yang aspected. So E is yin illness. G is yang illness. So that's the first level. We separate the G with yin yang. We say everything we can separate yin and yang. So the illness or the masses, G is yin, G is yang illness. And G, we say yin illness, basically located deeper in the deeper and hidden. Yang generally say in the superficial and moving. So that's we just talking about the generally yin and yang are natural here. And then we're talking about D. That's basically is the have the formed in T. What we say in basically is a form. And the yang is moving, it's not the form part. Yang is certainly is more qi part, energy part. But yin is the more form part. So even for qi, yin part of the qi, and they cause the illness, still can cause the form. So that's G. So basically, you can thinking about, we say, qi, we can separate yin qi and wei qi. Certainly, yin qi belong to yin part of the qi. Yin qi not moving. Yin qi pushing blood moving. Yin qi not moving, certainly cause the blood not moving, cause the blood stasis. So that kind of blood stasis, we can think about G. Ju is yang kind of qi. It should be moving around. Yeah, should be moving around. But sometimes for some reason, like there's stagnation there, still cause the masses. So that's basically is qi caused qi stagnation. So that's G. So that's marching with your internal mind. Yeah, marching is your internal mind. G is mostly like a blood stasis or maybe phlegm. And the G is caused by qi stagnations. And then we're talking about because G belongs to yin, that's usually caused or coming from 5 zang organs disorder. And the Ju belong to yang, that's usually coming from 6 organs disorder. So that's G and Ju here. Yeah, G and Ju here. So that's G belong to yin, Ju belong to yang. And then still talking about G and Ju here. So G belong to yin. The nature of the yin, they still stay in where it development, means still in the fixed location. And they're painful, yeah, they're painful, but they fix there. And the Ju belong to yang. They moving around, yeah, upper and down and lower. Just means moving around. They have like an ending or beginning part. Just means they are clear to separate, like the aging, like which part, this part is painful. But next day they may move into this part. But they clear, you can clear to separate with like around the tissue or around the, like the other zangfu organ there. So that's basically for Ju. They're not spatially stay there. They can move in left side to right side because that's coming from qi stagnation. And the qi will be mutable. So that's another aspect. We're talking about Jiju. So still continually talking about Ju. Ju. So Ju coming from the yang, yang aspected. The development without root means they start without form. And you are not truly find where it start because they're mutable. So they're moving upper and down, left side and the right side, don't have special place. And they're painful, don't have special place also. Moving kind of pain. So still talking about Ju here. They're moving around. Sometimes it's hard to find where it starts. But they're moving up or down and the painful condition. They still moving kind of pain. So that's Ju. That's Ju. So then conclusions. What means Ji? What means Ju? From these all the symptoms and the signs, then we say what is Ji, what is Ju. Is the similar like in your internal medicine discuss Ji and Ju? Yeah. So that's our internal mind, Ji and Ju originally coming from. So that's 55. 55 difficult issue. Let's see, next one is a bigger one or small one here. 57. Yeah, 57. Yeah, not too long. We finish this one and then we have break. Yeah, 57. We still talking about the illness. Yeah, still talking about the illness. So we're talking about a different kind of diarrhea. That look like we are not specially discussed before. Yeah. Generally, we say diarrhea. We mainly thinking about spleen qi deficiency, or spleen yang deficiency, or kidney yang deficiency. But we say truly we can thinking about we have 5 different kind of diarrhea. So let's see what's 5 different kind of diarrhea originally in Nan Jing discussed here. So we say we have 5 different kind of diarrhea. And we name it is difference. These 5 kind of diarrhea is not truly matching with 5 zang organs. Truly some diarrhea caused by zang organ, some diarrhea caused by fu organ. So we say we can have stomach diarrhea. We can have spleen diarrhea. We can have large intestine diarrhea. We can have small intestine diarrhea. And we have another special one. We have another special one. We call 大甲蟹 diarrhea. 大 is bigger. This 甲 the same. You talking about the 真甲 before. Pretty similar like G and G. 真 is like a blood stasis disorder. 甲 is qi disorder. Pretty similar like a G disorder. Still talking about abdominal masses and especially for gynecology problems. So thus together we have 5 different kinds of diarrhea. So 大甲蟹, yeah, 大甲蟹. Also say some heaviness condition behind. What means behind? You go to bowel movement. After, you still feel heavy there. You couldn't totally relieve your bowel movement or stool. So that's generally say 5 different kinds of diarrhea. Then we go to some detail. They truly talking about some detail here. So diarrhea caused by stomach. So that's basically, they will have the symptoms like food couldn't digest. Yeah, they say food and drink not transformed. We say normally they will go to transform to small intestine, then go to large intestine, then stool passing out. But stomach diarrhea is difficult to digest for the food and the drink. So that's basically they cause stomach symptoms like abdominal distension. And their stool color is yellow. So yellow color, we say normally stool is a little bit yellow. But these kind of diarrhea patients, they stool may be a little bit more yellow, because stomach, spleen, that belong to earth. Earth, the color is the yellow color. When they have illness, it's a little bit more yellow there. So that's stomach diarrhea. Then we're talking about spleen diarrhea. Yeah, spleen diarrhea. Spleen diarrhea, abdominal is more fullness, swollen and fullness. Certainly, spleen TNT functions if not working, everything not moving. Stomach will be full, abdominal will be full. And when it diarrhea, is more liquid diarrhea, more water rushing down. And they also cause vomiting. So basically, spleen stomach functions still connected to each other. Spleen have trouble also cause stomach to reverse, vomiting. Especially happens after eating. In other words, we say spleen stomach diarrhea, their symptoms is kind of similar there, but spleen cause diarrhea more worse because spleen belong to yin organ. Yeah, yin organ cause problems. It's more worse. So that's the spleen caused diarrhea. Then we're talking about diarrhea of the large intestine. So large intestine diarrhea cause the abdominal painful situation. Cramping will cause the pain. And especially like just after food, after eating, patient feel abdominal painful. And then when they go to stool, the stool are white color. So that's some sounds, bubbling sounds in the intestine and feel very, very sharp pain, cutting kind of pain, just sharp pain. So basically, this kind of condition, we can thinking about like from Western medicine aspect. You can think about like some people got like a gallbladder stone, and then stone couldn't passing, just blocking the gallbladder tube, blocking there. The bile couldn't relieve to the small intestine, couldn't go to large intestine. So that's because no bale's color there. The stone's color is the white color. And also abdominal, pretty sharp, painful condition. And certainly large intestine belong to the metal. Metal's color is the white. So in our TCM, these kind of diarrhea, belong to large intestine diarrhea. It's pretty acute and severe kind of condition. Yeah, it's not like a chronic condition. Then talking about the small intestine diarrhea. Small intestine diarrhea pass inside, blood inside, in the stool. So that's right now, I think we separate the illness for dysentery. Yeah, illness for dysentery. So pass blood inside of stool. And the patient also feel painful, especially in lower abdominal area. And certainly blood inside, blood color is red color. Red color belong to the fair. Small intestine is the fair organ. So these kind of diarrhea belong to small intestine diarrhea. But truly right now, we belong this diarrhea for dysentery. Yeah, dysentery. Still kind of acute condition. Then they talking about pretty special kind of diarrhea. Yeah, pretty special kind of diarrhea. This diarrhea, they name it 大甲蟹. Yeah, 大甲蟹. 蟹 is diarrhea. Yeah, 蟹 is diarrhea. So people feel they need to go to bowel movement and urgent to go. Yeah, and some heavy and sensation in the abdominal area, urgent to go. But after they go, they still feel heavy in there. Yeah, they still feel heavy in there. They always go to bowel movement, but still not able to pass in all the stools. And also severe case will cause pain kind of feeling in the penis area. So pretty still acute condition. Yeah, still acute condition. I think this kind of condition, like we talking about still large intestine belong to large intestine damp heat kind of condition. Yeah, damp heat, severe kind of damp heat condition, and cause the patient's diarrhea. They continually go to bowel movement, and after bowel movement, still feel heavy sensation in there. That's truly some dampness in there, and the blocking caused painful. So that's originally in Nanjing, we say we have 5 different kind of diarrhea. Yeah, 5 different kind of diarrhea.